Today is the approval of the minutes from the May 2nd meeting, the last meeting that we had.
I move that we accept and approve the minutes of May 2nd.
The motion has been made and seconded. Could we just have a show of hands on approval? And the count passes. Unanimous?
What is this?
I get my crib notes. Okay, I'm going to take just a few minutes of your time to talk about this meeting and things that you will see in the future. My name is Cal Martin. I'm from District 21, and it is my privilege to lead the Delegate Assembly at this moment in time. I appreciate everyone who comes and gives of themselves to make this a better place to live. It's a really, really nice attribute that everyone has. Somehow you've got the goodness gene in you. Bless you. We had, the last thing that we did as a group was we had a June 4th workshop. We've been trying to work through different avenues by which we can find small improvements for life here in Sun Lakes. It's already pretty good, and nobody's going to do one thing that makes it revolutionary, like no HOA fees. That's never going to happen, but I think it's good to accept the good that is around us and always try to make it just a little better, and that's what these meetings are about, is to focus where we want to work, and then we will work on those and bring it back in front of the General Assembly for a formal debate and vote. That's the direction we're working in at this moment in time. The next workshop is scheduled for Friday, July 5th. It'll be at 1 p.m. in the North Clubhouse. I'd like to announce a couple of decisions to create committees here at the Delegate Assembly. I have 3 committees to announce. Each one will involve volunteers of 4 people to serve on the committee. And the first is a standing committee basically to deal with delegate affairs. And the Delegate Affairs Committee will develop a process by which, as a community, we have the same set of standards or metrics applied to anyone who wants to be a midterm appointment as a delegate or as an alternate. And the purpose for this basically is just it's kind of like a job interview, you know, pretty simple. It's just a job interview to say, hey, do you really realize what you're stepping into? And are you okay working with the way we work right now? Because it is surprising that some people do not have mobile phones, and some people really don't like the internet or email very well, and it's very hard to be a delegate if you have to be hand-delivered every piece of paper that has been created. There's quite a few of them. After that set of parameters has been established by that working group, they'll bring it back before the Delegate Assembly, and we'll vote on whether we think this is an appropriate thing for us to ask of people, and if so, that then becomes a standard policy that we will apply to anybody that is going to be a midterm appointment before we actually take that and make the recommendation to the master board, which is what we're supposed to do. That's really what we're supposed to do, is exactly that. Find good people, make good decisions, or ask the board to probe into things to make this a better community. The other thing that the Standing Committee for Delegate Affairs will deal with is create a code of ethics for the conduct of anybody who is performing duties on behalf of Sun Lakes as a community in the Delegate Assembly. It's something that you might want to say shouldn't be necessary, and perhaps that's true. I think that experience has taught most of us in life that it really is good to have a standard to lean back on to say this is what's expected. Because things do happen, and sometimes they're intentional, oftentimes they're not, but we should be able to hold each other accountable, and that's all this is about. We want to represent the best that Sun Lakes has to offer from the community. You've all given a lot of time, and I think it's important for us as a group to say we don't want anybody to have to suffer the indignant public when basically it's sometimes the fact that somebody's done something that needs to be addressed. That happens in life. They will also handle anybody who somehow steps across the line or makes a violation. And a lot of this comes down to just disputes between neighbors. We're just neighbors. That's all it is. But the delegate assembly, I think, should have some responsibility for the delegates that serve here, and that's the purpose for making this committee. I also want to announce an ad hoc committee created for the purpose of improving the annual candidate forum. This is something that should be looked at annually. It does not require a standing committee. We want to look at different categories, different possibilities, different questions, different ways to do things, and see if we can't make improvements in that. That's a 4-person committee. That's basically what they will work on. And again, their work product will be available to the public. Their work product will also be brought back to the delegate assembly here, where we will vote on its acceptance before, again, it is either published to the community or forwarded to the board if some other appropriate action might be required. The last standing, it's an ad hoc committee for standing rules, and mostly we're kind of new with Robert's rules. We're new with some of the parliamentary procedures that are required of that. I think that's evident from anybody that you ask or look at while we do this. We're all trying to learn and make it an easier and more functional meeting, and that is greatly my responsibility. The Standing Rules Group it basically says that we will deal with violations, not violations, but separations from Robert's Rules. And in Robert's Rules, for example, if you're having a discussion on the floor, each member is entitled to talk 5 minutes and then 5 minutes more. Well, we have 23 members, and you people would be here for about 3 days listening to that, and there's just absolutely no reason to do those types of things in this type of meeting. So a modification or a standing rule could possibly be that everybody has the right to talk for 2 minutes instead on the subject. And the only reason for that is you have to keep in mind you have 23 people here, and if they're passionate about what's going on, you might hear it 23 times or 46 times, and that's plenty for anybody. That's the purpose of the Standing Rules Committee, is because we want to have a structure and an organization that is rule-bound, and people can know that they, again, want to have the ability to fall back on the rule to know that it's being done right, and it should just be done right. Everybody has that same obligation. Anyway, that's my talk for the moment. Thank you very much for the time. Next moment on the agenda, the next item on the agenda would be our guest speakers, and the first one is Michelle Walter, joining us to speak on 2 different issues that she's passionate about. One would be community awareness, and the other, welcome home.
Can you hear me? Oh, there we go. Okay. Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, district delegates, Michelle Walter. I get 6 minutes, 3 and 3, but I'm going to try and make it as quick as I can. I don't want to bore you. So the first one I want to tell you about is for the Community Awareness Program. On July 2nd, it's from 1 to 3 here in the main ballroom. We have the Office of the District Attorney, and we have Mike Hestron, who is our DA. And a lot of you are going to say, why do we have the DA coming in? Because a lot of you don't know what the DA actually does, what their job is, who they report to. And then we're also going to have a Deputy District Attorney on elder abuse and fraud. She's been here before, and she gives an excellent presentation. She's full of energy. And I hope that all you delegates will be there and take some information from Mike Hestron. Okay, the next one is Welcome Home. And Welcome Home, and I did not make everybody one of these, but I'm going to email them to you since I have all your email addresses. It's easier than giving you another piece of paper. So I'm going to email everybody one of these. It is on July 25th. It's here in the main ballroom from 5 to 5:30. Delegates, please contact your homeowners. Invite them to this Welcome Home. And I'm going to give you some stats right now. This is from April and May. District 1, you have 1 person. District 2, you have 3 people. District 3, you have 3. District 4 is 6. District 5 has 3. District 6 has 2. District 7 has 4. District 8 has 1. District 9 has 4. District 10 has 5. 11 has 1. 12 has 2. 13 has 2. 14 has 5. 15 has 1. And 16 has 0. Nobody's gone in there. 17 has 2. 18 has 1. 19 has 2. 20 has 1. 21 has 1. 22 has 2. And 23 has 1. This is a lot of people. I would love for it to be full in here. And please, please contact your people. And I know some of your residents have contacted me and said they were not invited to the last one. Please invite them. We want them to get the same benefit and the same little goodie bag that everybody else gets. So please make sure that you call them. Make sure that you get to them a few days beforehand to make sure that they are actually going to come, because don't forget, we have to pay for them even if they don't show up. Last time we had 9 that did not show up. So that's 9 people that we have to pay for. So just make sure that you contact them and then let me know. And the date that you have to let me know by is July 18th, but I'll send this out to you so you have all the information. And I just want to let you know one other thing, if I can. Do I have some more time? Okay, good. Real quick. I know that Candace is going to do something on the American Red Cross, and I know that some of your people in your district, I had the American Red Cross come here on March 7th last year, and they signed up to have smoke detectors put in. Well, that gentleman never got back to me, never got back to the residents, and it was very, very poor, poor business. I don't know what happened. Candace is going to go on about that. But I think that you're going to be able to go through Candace and have your people know that they can get their smoke detectors in this next program. So just let them know, and I apologize, but I tried to get a hold of that gentleman, and he never returned my call. So shame on him. Okay, thank you. Any questions? Nope, good. Oh, yes.
Chris Gonzalez, District 8. Do you have any kind of certification for people that want to get medical, to learn how to use a defibrillator or?
Oh, you know what? Candace can probably talk about that. I think we've got something, and that'll be a program I think that she'll put on.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, thank you, Michelle. And next we have Will Baker, who is here to speak to us about the Veterans Group here in Sun Lakes.
Good afternoon. Is that better? My name is Will Baker. I'm the Executive Director of the Veterans of Sun Lake CC. And I also want to introduce 3 of our members that are here today. Ron Kington, United States Army. Bob Walter, United States Army. Chris Gonzalez, United States Army. And I am United States Marine Corps. Who are we? Our club was founded in September of 2023 here in Sun Lakes Country Club, and we've grown to 127 registered members. We are an official club in Sun Lakes and can be found on the Sun Lakes CC website, where our mission statement, bylaws, and officers are listed, as well as the application for membership. This is a no-cost membership currently. Our general meetings are the second Tuesday of each month here in the ballroom at 9 o'clock, and we're open to both members and all residents of Sun Lakes. We typically have guest speakers on subjects of interest to veterans. We also have a resident VA benefits analyst on our team at no cost to our members. While most of our members have served in the military, and we have over 3 dozen combat veterans in our group, in fact, membership is open to all Sun Lakes residents, regardless of military service. All we ask is they bring a positive attitude and are supportive of our mission and our military. We are non-political in nature. We have several Gold Star families here in Sun Lakes. We invite all Sun Lakers to see our recent video, which is posted on the Good Day Sun Lakes website, which shows the presentation of colors, which is the flags, which took place in this room on Tuesday, June 11th. If you watch the video of the ceremony, please posted to YouTube. It will give you a good glimpse of who we are and how we are proceeding. Thanks to the master board here in Sun Lakes, a full set of colors is now on permanent display, plus it will be carried together with our club banner in the upcoming July 4th parade here by the Air Force Junior ROTC unit of Beaumont High School, an elite group led by a retired Air Force Master Sergeant. What we are asking of the district delegates is simply to include a statement in your next district newsletter that the Veterans of Sun Lakes CC exists and is open to all Sun Lakers.
Excuse me,
Veterans
Will.
or not.
Excuse me, Mr. Baker, you'll have to conclude your comments.
Okay. Veterans or not, with the hope some of your district homeowners will find the idea of joining our club to be of interest to them. With your help, we hope to grow to over 200 members by Veterans Day. Thank you.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Baker? Thank you, sir, for your presentation.
Thank you. Sir.
Oh, we have a question.
Thank you. Jim Nickel, District 3 delegate. Do you have a color guard set up for any ceremonials? For instance, out at the Riverside National Cemetery?
We have a Veterans Affairs officer that could answer that for you. I don't know.
Very good. If I may interject here, I had one of my long-term residents, a veteran, pass away, and I was honored to be involved in this ceremony at the National Cemetery. And I will tell you, they put on an excellent presentation. I was involved with the pallbearing, the colors, taps, and the rifle volley. And it's so professional. It's a wonderful facility. And if you get an opportunity to go and visit or even participate with for one of our veterans, it's an outstanding presentation. Dignified and just very professional in every mannerism. So I just wanted to throw that out there. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Jim. Linda, you have a comment?
In addition to that, most of us attend funerals at Riverside National Cemetery. If you go to visit the cemetery, it is fantastic, filled with beautiful monuments all over the place. They're just beautiful statues and beautiful monuments. The Medal of Honor, I mean, it's just incredible. It would be really worthy of a group going to visit the cemetery itself. And they have docent tours, which are very, very interesting.
Thank you, Linda. Before we proceed, I just wanted to say thank you, Will. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Before we proceed, I'd like to say that the text, basically, of the previous presentations will be sent to you if it hasn't not already. I do this mostly so that it will aid you in writing newsletters to spread interesting parts of those subjects if you so desire. That will also include the chair report, which I made. I will send you that as well, and I failed to ask for your support. So consider one of those committees when you get that chair report, and if you possibly can give of yourself to join the committee, one of them, that would be wonderful. Just let me know. Okay, the next portion that we're on to item 4 on the agenda, which would be the introduction of Eric Wenzel for Food and Beverage Director here at Sun Lakes. Thank you. Let's everybody give him a round of applause.
Hi, I'm Eric Wenzel. Can everybody hear me okay? I figured as much. I'm a little too tall for these things. So, I'm Eric. I'll be here in this office next to Chef. Actually, that's a little bit better, correct? My name is Eric Wenzel. This is my 8th day overall. So please, if I'm walking by fairly quickly, you want to stop me, by all means, please do. So I tend to just kind of focus on one thing and just go for it. I'm trying to getting my bearings, getting my feet grounded and whatnot, but everybody's been really welcoming, and want to say hi or just stop and ask me any questions, by all means, please do. And yeah, I think we have a couple of great ideas moving forward, trying to get things essentially cleaned up according to my standards per se, so I'll be in the kitchen for the most part, but I'll do my best to step out in the afternoon and evenings to somewhat congregate with everybody during some activities and whatnot. And yeah, any questions that I can answer? Please. My background? Sure. I have a couple degrees, associates in culinary arts, bachelor's in nutrition and food science with my RD, my DTR. Started at Loma Linda, went into with them with nutrition for training, and ended up in healthcare, ultimately. Worked my way through college as a bartender, bartender, server, working with Levy restaurants and whatnot, so I have that scope in my previous years, which is, luckily, I'm remembering most of it for the most part. So, but it's a nice refresher overall. But mostly skilled nursing, acute care, and assisted living and memory and independent care for retirement facilities out in mostly Southern California, just most recently in Rancho Mirage. Hmm?
Chris Gonzalez, District 8. You know, about a week ago, I had Eric and I. What's that on? Hello. About a week ago, Eric and I had a bad interaction with one of the residents out here. And I just want to tell everybody out here that take some time and say thank you to a lot of these employees that work out here. They work so hard to make our lives easier, not only as delegates, but residents. A lot of the golfers out there, they enjoy the golf club. You know, those guys work so hard. Eric, I want to say a shout out to you guys because on, what was it, Saturday, I think you had the golf club raffle during the day. You had to set up for that. Then at 4:30, you had to reset everything and set up for the dancing at the veranda. Mm-hmm. Good job with you and your crew. They were excellent, bar none. But I just want to encourage people that live at home, take time to say thank you to some of these guys because they work so hard for us, and we just got to give them respect right back. Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wenzel. Okay, and next we have on item number 4, the Recreation Department report from Mr. Uwals, who I don't believe is here. We might have a pinch hitter. Bob's not there.
Check. You can use this one.
There's Bob.
How's this? Okay, perfect. Okay, I am not Jason Ewalls, if you have noticed, but I will be giving a recreation update. Music Under the Stars will occur June 29th, right outside the veranda bump out, 6:30 to 9:30. The 4th of July Golf Cart, Float, and Classic Cars Parade. The theme this year is Proud to be an American. Register golf cart and floats with the main clubhouse receptionist. The deadline to register is July 3rd. This event includes DJ entertainment, games, popcorn, snow cones, contests, and many more. What Jason didn't add, which a lot of people have been emailing me as the interim food and beverage director, is there will be breakfast burritos out there, so you can have some breakfast burritos. That was the big concern, and I get it. Ice Cream Social, July 8th, 2 to 3 p.m. on the veranda. $3 for 3 scoops of ice cream and mixed assorted toppings. Only cash, please. This is the only group that will accept cash, no credit cards, no traveler's checks, nothing, while supplies last. And last but not least, we do have a blood drive, July 11th, from 7 a.m. to 11 a.m. in the main clubhouse multi-purpose room. Flyers are available at the main clubhouse lobby rack. There's a scanned QR code or call the number provided on the flyer to make an appointment. That concludes the recreation updates.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Number 6 is the EPAP report. Candace Jenkins is here from the executive team. She talks to delegates at this moment about what EPAP's vision is, the delegates' role in the community.
I'd like to start by answering the questions that were on the table. So Chris, yes, we do have someone here in Sun Lakes that does teach first aid and AED. If they want a certificate, they have to pay the Red Cross fee for that. And the second was the smoke detector installation. I spoke with Kelly at the American Red Cross. She is my contact. I told her what happened last year. She said if we can compile a list of those people that contacted that gentleman, she will get a team out to install smoke detectors for them. If we don't have it, and those that residents that want to come back and re-sign up, they will arrange for a team to come out and install the smoke detectors. Okay, my time starts now. This afternoon, I would like to go over the job descriptions and responsibilities of the delegates in support of EPAP. Over the years, some of the duties and responsibilities that have been passed down from delegate to delegate were not as written in our manual or supporting documents. With a new chairman and a new vice chairperson, Cal and the EPAP team felt it would be a good time to review the responsibilities as originally written. So in addition to their other duties, they have agreed to use their elected office in support of this community's Emergency Preparedness Action Plan. The delegates coordinate with the EPAP Executive Director in the appointment and training of district EPAP coordinators and alternates, who will have the primary responsibility for the EPAP operations in their district. So before an event happens, you should coordinate with EPAP Executive Director and EPAP in the appointment of district coordinators and alternates who will be responsible for the EPAP operations in their district. Maintain a supportive role of the EPAP coordinator through training, action, and communication. Include the joint development of personal assignments for efficient operations of the district command post. The recruitment of district residents willing to serve in EPAP district positions and alternates. If not already accomplished, organize their districts into EPAP zones of 8 to 15 residential units each. The number of properties assigned to a zone should be determined on the basis of an easy, quick accessibility. Each zone carries a letter designation such as A, B, C, etc. In the absence of a district EPAP coordinator, the district delegate assumes all the duties and responsibilities of that position. Post-event, immediately following notification of an event, check your own residents and occupants, ascertain status, and if satisfactory, both delegate and alternate report to district command post to assist the EPAP coordinator and alternate in performing the event duties and responsibilities, including handling command and tactical radio network communications, dispatch of medical rescue teams in response to zone captain reports and observations and/or companion district requests, coordination of all other emergency recovery efforts in their district.
Candace, time when you can conclude it would be great.
Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Do you have any final conclusions?
Yes, Linda?
Well, I think historically, in my district especially, zone captains deliver newsletters. And I have a zone captain that has a group of 42 residents. So according to what you're saying, the zone captains, like I have 127 homes. So I should have, what, 12 zone captains who are, if they deliver newsletters, but they're also in charge of, say, 10 homes in case of an emergency. So that is, I would need a complete restructuring in my district, for example. I don't know about other districts as far as zone captains are
Yes,
concerned.
that is correct. Excuse me. We know that many of the districts do not have nearly enough zone captains, so we are recruiting, we are trying to get individuals that will sign up for these positions. But yes, that is correct.
So if I understand correctly, what you're saying, Candace, is that while we may not be actively out there looking for zone captains to match your model, you are, and those zone captains would then be referred back to an individual district delegate to say, could you modify your assignments for zones?
Yes, when we have people that identify that they want to volunteer, we determine what district they are in and usually send them back to either the district delegate or the coordinator.
Okay.
Chris?
Hey, Candace, District 8, I've got no zone captains and I've got no EPAP coordinator. So if we can help out here. And anybody out there who wants to volunteer, please get a hold of me.
Yes.
But, yeah.
Jean, did you have a question?
Yes.
Here you go.
Who is the contact that these residents should call for the smoke detectors if they're one that got left out and they want to re-up for that program?
You can have them call me at the EPAP phone number.
Okay, thank you.
Or my personal number, and I think you have that as well. If you don't, I'll give it to you.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jenkins. And now we have time for the Board of Directors if they'd like to share something with us.
Yes. Please hold all questions to the end so it won't be held against our 3 minutes. As of June 14th, the reserve replenishment assessment fee of 6 months HOA dues will now be included in the escrow closings. That's effective tomorrow. That's the scheduled date. This was passed in December and is finally going to be recording this month. So we're looking forward to that increased revenue from those purchasers which are eligible. The board has decided to acquire competitive bids or RFPs for requests for proposals for management and food and beverage operations. At the same time, the board will review the current restaurant feasibility and its effectiveness. For the month of April, there was significant reduction in the losses in our food and beverage operations, so we're looking forward to continued improvement in that area. We interviewed Eric Wenzel, who was here today, and he was hired, and we're looking forward to great things from our new director. State of California, in its infinite wisdom, has passed Senate Bill 478, which no longer allows us to have a gratuity automatically added to the restaurant bill. So in order to retain our staff, we need to make sure that a gratuity is added individually by the person who's being served. And related to that, we decided to do a $1 wage increase for all our restaurant service staff to kind of counteract, because not everybody's going to be able to or will remember, to put the gratuity on there.
All right, I'll finish up here. The board has approved the governance model that we've been talking about. Many of you heard it called OPA. The A part of OPA was analysis, so the analysis is complete. We have authorized Karen Conlon with Sequoia Grove Consulting to put together the implementation plan. So we're looking forward to that to keep our governance aspect showing the new direction of the board, the defined direction of the board. The RV storage lot, after many months of no problems, had a couple break-ins in 1 week, about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We currently have, in an emergency situation, are staffing it from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. while we are working on the whole camera situation, power for floodlights, et cetera, et cetera. So we're getting a lot of quotes right now, or working on quotes to make a change on that. The lounge expansion is coming along. Our goal is September 30th. The official date listed by the contractor is 10/11, but our goal as of yesterday is to be hopefully up and running before around 9:30 at the latest. And the board has approved a new travel club. It's not a travel agency type club, but it's a club for people to share their trips that they've taken. And last but not least, we have put together a fee charge schedule that lists three different categories. I'll just make it very quick and we'll be done. The fees are for members. Basically, it's going to be little or no fee. Members, guests that like hosting a baby shower or something will be one tier level, but then a complete outside group would be another tier level. So that'll be published soon, if it's not already.
Thank you, Mr. Walter and Mr. Robbins, for those reports. We appreciate the information. Oh, Ms. Hobart has a question. I'm sorry.
I'm going to go to Bob with the question. Could you elaborate a little bit more on the outside source that you're looking to bring in?
I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Pardon? The bids that you are looking for?
It's a request for proposal. We're developing a scope right now with the Procurement Advisory Committee, and the board is working on a scope of work. So we haven't really contacted anybody or sent any type of bids out, but we're working on that in preparation for in the future.
I think I'm a little bit confused as to what this would entail. What is their purpose?
A purpose is to improve and the operations and reduce the losses that we've had in the food and beverage department, and so we're addressing that. So that's the purpose.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Bowles?
It's on. I can speak loud. It's a quick question on the travel.
Hang on. Hold on. The public at large needs to hear this.
Oh, I'm on. Okay. Whoa, sorry about that. You mentioned a new club coming on board, a travel club?
Yes.
When we do something like that, would it be possible to get somebody from that club to come here and just give a brief rundown on what the club is all about and how it's set up so that we could put it in our newsletters? It would be a good idea.
That's a good idea. We would have to contact the club, and they would have to be willing to do that. But the main thing is, this club is not going to be setting up any trips. You know, the trips are going to be done by the existing outside organizations that already do that. They're just sharing information and discussing trips and talking about their experiences, but they are not developing trips here from Sun Lakes.
Thank you. Mike, to illuminate a little bit on what you had asked, if you noticed we had Will Baker here today from the Veterans Group, which is also a fairly new group here at Sun Lakes. And this has not been, in the past, something that is normally done at the Delegate Assembly meeting. Clubs don't normally present. And I'm trying to do exactly what you asked, have a group in every month, somebody different, so that you can learn a little bit more about them. If you already know about them, it may be superfluous, but I'm hoping that it's just to foster greater knowledge of the community in which we live. Moving on to the next item, we have announcements from administration.
Excuse me, so we'll have to ditto everything the board just said because they took away some of my bullet points, but that's okay. Reminder, age verification is moving forward. They are due, we're asking the forms be turned in June 28th. After that, we're going to compile the list of outstanding districts that we need your assistance, and we'll be returning to you. That will be at the July meeting. So as a reminder, if you can, in your district newsletters, please remind them to get their age verification forms in. And since we talked about that and that, beginning July 1st, the restaurant weekend hours will change for Saturday and Sunday. The Sandwich Bar and Grill will open at 9 a.m. rather than 7 a.m. The reason we are doing this is we've run this program from 7 a.m. for the last 2 months, and no one shows up at 7 a.m. I have staff working, preparing, and there's no customers. And so, unfortunately, we're going to need to cut that segment of service. We will still be updating the community on specials, other things that are going on. As Bob mentioned, the service charge is being removed. You'll see that removed on the after June 18th. That item of service charge will be removed from your tickets. So please remember to tip your servers. We were able to modify the ticket system to allow an auto calculator at the bottom of the ticket. That will say, here's your total, suggested tip for 15%, 18%, 20%, and what that corresponding dollar amount should be. So you don't have to bring calculators. We joked that we were going to change the menus and have a calculator on it and other things, but we don't need to do that. We actually got the POS system to the company to modify that for us. And so you'll start seeing that after June 18th. That completes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mitchell. Any questions? If there are no questions, we'll move to the next item, which is announcement from district delegates. I know this caused a little bit of controversy when I put 1 minute on these limits on everybody, but remember there's 23 of us. And you know, if we all go 3 minutes, that's an hour and a half. So if you can, I don't think we need to strictly time you here. I'm just asking you to be concise and brief. And we'll start with Barbara.
Barbara Illness, District 1. There really hasn't been anything going on in my district this last month.
Loretta Coulthard, District 2. And I don't have anything.
Good afternoon, everybody. Jim Nickel, District 3. On June 4th, we had our barbecue. I mentioned in the last meeting, it went very well. It was a pool barbecue. We hosted it by our Lakeside Association. I was a barbecue master, which was great, a lot of fun. We had games, beach balls. Nobody fell in the pool. Recreation did a great job bringing us tables, chairs, and canopies for the shade, because that day was 92, which was our highest day so far this year. But we were limited because of the size of our swimming pool, but it was wonderfully attended, and everybody had a great, great time. So ready to do it again. Thank you.
Dave Miller, District 5. Our next event is in August. It'll be a bingo pizza party at the South Clubhouse along with District 2. And that's it. Thanks.
Jess Ocampo, District 6. My District 6 thanks everyone who contributed to fill the pantry at the senior citizens, and we are hoping that you would attend our snack and snack and yak on Wednesday, June 26 at our pool area. You'll enjoy the food, definitely, and the entertainment. Thank you.
Gail Billick, District 7. As a new delegate, I'm meeting with my leadership team on Monday at my house and having a little gathering to find out what we're all going to be doing. And then on July 21st, we'll have our first event.
Chris Gonzalez, District 8. In our district, Saturday, July 6th, we're going to have an old-fashioned Italian spaghetti night. It's going to be $20 per person. Come join us and have a good night, good fun time.
Linda Vieira, District 9. Our district is having a barbecue at the South Clubhouse on June 28th. Everyone is encouraged to join us. It's $15 per person, and we're going to have hot dogs and hamburgers. I wanted to ask a question, if I may, please. When somebody from the Recreation Department gives a report like you did, Chris, I don't know if you asked for questions, but you went by those dates so fast that I was asking the two people on either side of me, what did he say? What time was that? So if you have something for July that we could put in our newsletter, if you could print it out or send it out to us, that would really help.
Jean Dobson, District 10. We've already had one social this month. June 4th, we had our nachos at our pool. And then June 29th, we're having an early Independence Day celebration again at our pool. We're providing the chicken, fried chicken, and everybody else is doing potluck version. And we'll have pool games, and we'll play 50-50. And we're busy filling the cupboard. My garage is full of clothes and food and household items, and I thank District 10 very much. And I have a question. While I was recently going through delegate information in the handbook that was handed to me, I found a document, it's 3 pages of clubs and groups roster, and it's out of date, but has administration are they the ones that put this together in the first place? Because I'd like to have it available for my residents. It's more information than you find in lifestyles. It's contact information of all the groups and clubs.
I'll have to follow up on that.
I'll show this to you after the meeting and see if we can get something on it, because I think every district would like to have it for their residents. Thank you.
Next, go.
No, pass. Well, I'll pass the microphone.
Patty Lopez, District 11. I have no comments today.
Ann Hofert, District 12. I usually have a comment, but I'll keep it short and sweet. We're going to piggyback with District 18 and 8. We are doing the old-fashioned spaghetti night with 50-50. Right now, we've had our flyers out there about a month. I've got 29 in my district. Anita has 18, Chris has 0. That's pretty sad. When you have 168 in the District 12, 124 on Anita's, and 107, I believe, 105 on Chris's. Pretty poor turnout. I want to encourage the residents. We try to do these events for you. We want to get you out of the house. We want to get to know you, and I think it would be to your benefit. Okay, that's my first comment. Now I forgot my second comment. I'm a little concerned, and I might go over my time, but I am a little concerned about the gratuity. We're doing away with gratuity, and how clubs are going to handle the gratuity end of it. When I was making my reservations for the June dinner with the ICC, I was, at the end of my menu planning, I was asked, how are you going to take care of the servers? Now, as a group, we just are month to month. And it goes back to our people. Is it coming to the clubs or is it going to the people? I'm confused. I mean, we're prepared to give our 50-50 money to the servers, but that's not a guarantee what we'll get. So I don't know what what to expect. And this is going to be our first time, and it'll be next Thursday. When you started on the 18th, we have our dinner on the 20th. So give me some update.
So you're asking if you're going to tip the servers, or who gets,
But in the banquet, if it's a banquet, it's included.
right, the banquets are taken care of. They're going to be included in that price, and that will meet the law, the California law. So when they give you a price per person of X for your banquet, for your event, the tip is already included in that.
That wasn't explained to us at the time of booking, and I really, it's kind of sent the club in a tizzy. So, so we, as a club, it's included. So the rest of it is individual.
So if you have set up a banquet with a restaurant, that whole banquet price, just like Chris said, is going to include it's an 18% gratuity. You can certainly give your servers more than that, but the 18% will go to the servers.
But they took the gratuity off.
But in banquets, it can be included.
Right, so the law says there's no service charges, so you will not see, there's no tip included in the price of food. You go buy a drink from Matt or Angel, there's no tip included in the price of the drink. The only place where we're able to do that is in the banquets. And when they go through and they give you how many people and their linens and what you're going to eat, and there's a bottom total, they will include the tip amount in the price per person for you. So banquets, staff will be taken care of. That's the only exception we have right now. But if you're going to go eat and you're going to go to lunch and the sandwich, you're going to need to tip your server because there's no gratuity included in your golfer special or your mojito. So I'm not saying you drink that or eat that.
I understand the individual part. It's just that if we had been had a little group session of clubs that do banquets, and it sat down with each one to say, this is what's going to happen, and this is what is going to be included on your bill, because it just threw us in a tailspin. Because, what are we going to do? How are we going to handle it? How do we put it to our people? And you only get a handful of signups. I understand we have to take care of them.
Mm-hmm.
And they will be taken care of.
Right, I'll add a note to my admin update. We've been talking about this, I know, with updates for the last, since the legal counsel had reviewed this at the end of April, that this was coming and announced that. I also know that during the last 4 weeks or so, Chef was out, so he wasn't handling the banquets, and we had other people assisting. And I apologize if there was a miscommunication, but what I've talked to my team, what I've talked to the committees, when I've talked to groups, and I'll put this on the admin update that we're going to be doing next week, is that the only exception is in your events where you sign up for a banquet, whether it's Arlene's Breakfast, whether it's ICC, YCC, what have you, those events where you're going to get a banquet and price and per person, the tip is included. That was the only way we were going to be able to get the tip into the price. Everything else, that's going to be on each individual member when they're at the restaurant, sandwich, bar, they're going to have, or the Cheers bar, they have to tip on their own.
And Chris, the 18% has been included in the banquets forever.
You're right, and yes, the gratuity has always been, but it's been called a service charge, so you would see what is the price, food and everything, linens, drink stations, service charge. Now you will no longer see service charge. That service charge is included in the price of food.
So you won't see the actual word service charge on the sheet,
You won't see that.
but it will be included in the
It
food.
will be
price.
included in the price for the plate
Okay.
per person.
Thank you.
18%.
And that 18% has been 18% for a very long time.
It has. We had to change, though, I think it was last year we were at 15% in that because that was a system limitation.
But for banquets, it's always been 18%.
It has been, well, no, this last year it's been 15%. Previously, it was always 18%.
Okay, sorry, my bad.
If there's nothing more on the subject of tipping, we will move along. Jeannie, do you have anything you'd like to contribute?
Just very briefly, Jeannie Vaughn, District 13. We had an event scheduled for next week, actually, for our district, and it had to be canceled because the South Clubhouse was, construction plans were delayed somewhat. So we're starting to plan for our September 21st event. And last year we had a block party because the way our neighborhood's arranged, it was a perfect spot for it. So we're looking into maybe doing that again because it was very well received last year. And thank everybody for all their information. It's a very good meeting. Thank you.
Hello, Carly Beeks, District 14. On June 20th of this month will be my first district meeting with all my residents, and hopefully a lot will show up. And then I have two questions. I've had residents coming up to me and calling me. I guess today we had the street cleaner come around. Their question to me is, do we have a date of when they come? Because we had a lot of parked cars, and they go around the cars, and you can see the big spot where a car was. Okay. And then second, flyers have been showing up in people's mailboxes, and it has to do with, political, yes. Well, it's Democrat letters. And they're bringing them to my house, very upset. And our question is, how are they getting into our mailboxes when the meeting's going to be held at the Four Seasons? So that is my question. I don't know who to address this to, so I thought I would bring it to today. I'll pass this around. You can
So
look
a
at it.
member can come in and stick it in the box. What we try to do is if there's advertisements or anything, we ask that the members turn that into us so we can follow up with those and let them know the rules and regulations for advertising in mailboxes.
So that a member, but they're saying this came from the Four Seasons.
Right, so
But
there's a
somebody
lot
gave
of
to somebody
people,
here.
a lot of people are friends and everything, golfers, and I'll take that, I'll put it in my mailboxes for you.
Okay, so I'll just pass these to you? Okay. Thank you.
I didn't want to break it. B. Mercado, District 15. I also had some references from my residents regarding these letters, only because it's political in nature. We did not give consent. And we had questions about how these are getting done and if there are any consequences, how do you remedy this? I know that also it's hard to start out right away and with guns going. So I've had to kind of hold back a little bit with other commitments. My intent is to also have a district meeting with people who would like to help out in my zone captainship and other responsibilities. So it's about probably going to people that I know personally in my neighborhood and on other streets that I have had contact with and see if they can recommend someone or if they would like to volunteer on a temporary or rotating position. So I'm in beginning stages of that format. And I find this very interesting, so I'd like to make sure that I listen and take notes of those who are successful. Thank you.
Hi, Greg Voitko, District 16. I am this close to having 2 former nurses sign on as my medical response team. So if I can get that done, I'm there. I've staffed my entire EPAP operation for District 16. So those of you who are having challenges, a lot of phone work, a lot of phone work. July 28th, we have a Silly Senior 2024 Olympics dinner party planned at the North Clubhouse. 50-50, some simple age-appropriate games. I will send a flyer to each of you if you care to share the flyers with your constituents. It's open to all Sun Lakers. If you don't, that's okay too. I wanted to address something that was mentioned at the last open session. And Mr. Mitchell, I don't know if it was you who mentioned it, or Mr. Walter, it was you who mentioned it, but it had to do with some of the challenged residences around here, the haunted houses. And there was mention of a 90-day cycle to start looking after some of these properties. How do we get the challenged homes in our districts as part of this? 720 Big Spring is a real sore spot in my district. And how do we get on that list? And is that something that the district delegates can sort of be at the forefront of addressing and bringing to the community's attention?
So what each of you can do, because I know you go through each of your districts, walk, introduce yourself, let us know those addresses, so then we can follow up on that. So if we don't pick it up in our normal, or if they are already in the planning and compliance queue, I can let you know each within your district. So what I'm going to ask you is that, again, go through your district. If you identify areas of concern, please send those addresses to myself and Jason so we can follow up with you individually within your districts and let you know the status. If we show, because there's some that we have seen, some delegates have said this property is vacant. Great, we didn't know that because the assessments are getting paid. It's still in the member's name, and we can put it on our radar to follow up. And there are others that we do know the bank is in possession of it or in process, and then we can start, and that started actually this last meeting, meeting with the board of directors, this self-help program where we put the address on, send the letter, the board approves it, call to a hearing, the bank doesn't show up or the owner doesn't show up, the board can then direct that a self-help action occur where we go and address the yards and then bill the property address for that work. And that will be a constant cycle. We've just started at the last executive. So any properties, please email Jason and myself within your district so we can address those.
Anita Lawrence, District 18. I've been working very closely with my zone captains, and I want to thank them for how hard they're working with me in response to when I send out things, they get it out to the residents very quickly. I have met many of the residents in my district, but I have not met all of them. And so I would encourage and invite those residents to perhaps sign up for our spaghetti dinner that's going to be held on July 6th. I will be there, my husband will be there, my alternate delegate, Michelle Walter, and Bob will be there. So we would really like to meet you, so come out and enjoy dinner with us and get to know us. Thank you.
Hi, Marcia Midget, District 19. Now that the Monster Scramble is over, I can actually focus a little bit more on what's going on in District 19. So I hope to get with the EPAP team here, get involved and see how much further we can go with what's going on. As far as I know everything, they have a pretty good group right now, but everything can always be improved. So that's my next focus. Thank you.
Kate Reed, District 20. I wanted to say, first of all, thank you for changing the programming so that we have the amount of tip that can be calculated. It taxes my brain. Secondly, I was very fortunate in getting 2 additional homeowners in my area to take on the position of zone captain. So I'm only left with 1 that I have to fill. And I'd like to thank them very much for doing that. And other than that, no comment.
Mike Voles, District 22, I have nothing to add.
Charlie London, District 23. Our Social and Recreation Committee is working on our next upcoming event, which will be a 4th of July block party, barbecue. And we usually have a really good turnout, so I'm expecting probably our biggest turnout in recent years. We get 60 to 70 people for our dinners, and hopefully this will be quite an event. Pasted flyers on the mailboxes against the law? I don't think so. Anyways, that's what we're doing, and we will have a good turnout. Thank you.
Okay, and now moving on to item 10. We have a item in new business.
I didn't get to talk.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You didn't get to talk.
You're right. I back up. I'm sorry. We're not on number 10. We're on the end of number 9. Linda would like to say something.
I just want, I'm so happy to hear all the things that all the districts are doing. And I just want to share one thing that happened in our district. We had a fish fry. We have a resident that fishes, is that a right word? All year. He catches, he cleans, he freezes. He donates everything to our district and donates all the sides. So they collected over $1,500 for our Holiday Wish program. So huge thank you to them. I'm glad you're all applauding, because I think my next, I think our best thing to do now is for the delegates to buy a boat. Buy a boat. Thank you.
Cal Martin, District 21. I should take a moment also to shamelessly promote the Cornhole Tournament, which will be here right in this room on Saturday, the 22nd. We start at noon. There won't be any food service, but there is wonderful food right around the corner in the Sandwich. So come on out if you want to play cornhole. This one will be a tournament in which you have a blind draw for the partner. So you might come with somebody you want to play with, but you might end up playing with somebody completely different. And it will be a and double elimination bracket. What time and where? It starts at noon right here in the ballroom on June 22nd. And all the delegates might receive that information in the email shortly. Okay, on to number 10, new business.
Just a minute. I would like to make the motion to not have a district delegate assembly meeting in July, and we can reconvene on August 1st. Need a second?
Need a second for that motion? Marcia Midget seconds the vote. This motion has been made to not hold the meeting in the month of July. This has been historically the case, but we have the option to meet or not meet. So is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of this motion or against this motion?
Question. If we don't have the meeting, when should our newsletters be distributed?
Completely within your control.
Okay, because it's my understanding that the practice has been that we don't distribute newsletters until after the district delegate meeting.
Joe had many times.
So if we don't have one.
Yeah, it's also always your priority or prerogative whether you choose to write the newsletter or not.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Over here.
I'm just wondering why we don't have any business in July.
Right.
Right.
Take a
Yeah,
vote.
good question.
Is there anyone else that would like to speak for or against the motion?
It's on July 4th, by the way.
Yes, it is. Normal meeting would be July 4th. We have reserved a room for July 11th.
It can certainly be moved another day. I think it's important to continue the meeting monthly.
I do too. I agree with you, Jean.
Anyone else who would like to speak for the motion or against the motion?
I have a question. Ann Hofer, District 12. Why can we not because because of the 4th of July, I understand the holiday, but why not on another day?
Well, as I said, if we do hold the meeting in July, it will be on the 11th. We've already reserved a room for the 11th should this motion not pass.
Gotcha.
B. Mercado.
Can we take a show of hands as to how many delegates would want to have the meeting July 11th?
As opposed to a different day in July?
As opposed to canceling?
Yes, that's what the motion is about. So as soon as we're done with the discussion of the motion, then we will vote on it and know the answer to that question.
I'd like to see the meeting postponed to another date. The 11th is fine, or whatever's decided, but I think a meeting in July is critical, as it is every month.
Anyone else like to speak for or against this motion? Carly?
I think we should have it in July only because there's a lot of new delegates, and we're like still green, and this has helped us a lot coming to these meetings.
Thank you, Ms. Biggs. Marcia Midget.
We do have a workshop on Friday the 5th at 1 p.m. in the North Clubhouse, where if you all come, you will still get your fix without necessarily having an official meeting, if that makes sense.
B. Mercado?
While we do have a workshop on the 5th, it is not under the same process that we are experiencing here and now, where we face everyone. Typically, the workshops have been optional in attendance, and I think having delegate meeting is of a priority at this time.
Breaking a 20-year. Still I've been for 20 years.
Ms. Reed has called for the question. Those in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Oh, I'm sorry. You're absolutely correct. The motion is on the floor currently to not hold the meeting in the month of July. We have voted on that motion now. All those in favor of canceling the July meeting, please raise your hand. 1, 2. And those opposed? Okay, the motion is defeated. We will have a meeting on July 11th. It will be in the main ballroom at 2 p.m. That's great. Okay. Again? Okay, and now we're up to the point of member comments, where we invite the members of Sun Lakes as a whole to take a moment at the microphone to discuss things that might be on your mind. I would like to take this time to encourage you to keep your remarks confined to something that the Delegate Assembly can influence or should be concerned about, because sometimes remarks from the microphone go a bit awry and should be focused back to something that we are actually productive on. If you go awry, I may stop you and say, could we talk about something we could actually help you with? Anyway, hope that wasn't too harsh. Anybody want to speak from the general audience? I believe that's Mr. Keeley.
David Marshall Keeley, Chair of the Sun Lakes Country Club Charitable Trust, and this is a huge thank you to the Delegate Assembly. You participated this year, like you do most years, in the largest single fundraising activity in the distribution of the raffle tickets. So the numbers aren't total for the year, for the month of June yet, but I can tell you that the raffle and the helicopter ball drop and the ride the helicopter, very successful again this year, and you combine that was in the envelopes that you guys provided to each of 3,327 homes. That's a huge effort, and you are thanked because you really made a very successful June activity for the Charitable Trust. And you'll get more specific information when that's all totaled out, and I just can't thank you enough. probably 100 people again were volunteers to make the activities successful. And it's really important to Sun Lakes to be able to support several dozen charities in the greater San Gorgonio Pass. So big thank you to the Delegate Assembly. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Keeley, and also thank you for all the work you do on behalf of the Sun Lakes charity. Are there any other comments from the floor? If there are no other comments and no one has any burning issues or has anything else they want to say, would someone like to entertain a motion for adjournment?
I move that we adjourn.
Linda
I
Deere
second.
moves we adjourn, and we have a second. All those in favor? And we are adjourned. Thank you very much.